riding the roller coaster, mastering strategic risk-taking in business and life. Welcome to the BlackCEO podcast, where we dive deep into the minds of trailblazers who are reshaping the business landscape. Today, we're in for a treat that'll knock your socks off and maybe even your shoes. We're unpacking some mind-blowing insights from the incredible Annelle Whitt, JD, a force of nature who's been shaking up the legal and business worlds with the tenacity of a New York cabbie during rush hour. Annelle isn't just making waves, she's creating tsunamis of change, empowering entrepreneurs and leaders to navigate the treacherous waters of business with the finesse of a seasoned sea captain. Her work has touched countless lives, proving that with the right mindset and tools, anyone can steer their ship to success, no matter how stormy the seas. So, buckle up, folks. We're about to embark on a journey that'll make your average roller coaster look like a kiddie ride. We're talking about the art of strategic risk-taking. A concept so powerful, it could make or break your entrepreneurial dreams faster than a New York minute. Now, let's cut to the chase. Have you ever wondered why some entrepreneurs seem to have a Midas touch, turning everything they lay hands on into gold, while others can't seem to keep their heads above water? What's the secret sauce that separates the Richard Bransons and Janice Bryant Howroyds of the world from the countless dreamers who never make it past their first year in business? If you're thinking it's about having a golden horseshoe stuck where the sun don't shine, think again. It's not about luck. And it's certainly not about being blessed by some entrepreneurial deity. No, my friends, it's about something far more accessible, yet infinitely more challenging, strategic decision making. Now, I know what you're thinking. Strategic decision making sounds like some fancy MBA jargon that'll put me to sleep faster than a lullaby. But hold your horses, because this isn't your run-of-the-mill corporate buzzword bingo. This is about real, gritty, New York-style straight talk. That could be the difference between you sipping champagne on your private yacht or eating ramen in your parents' basement. Let's get one thing crystal clear. Entrepreneurship isn't a walk in Central Park on a sunny day. It's more like trying to cross Times Square during New Year's Eve. Blindfolded, it's a roller coaster ride that'll make your stomach drop faster than an express elevator in the Empire State Building. But here's the kicker. It's not about avoiding the drops. It's about learning to ride them like a pro, with a grin on your face and your hands in the air. During my enlightening conversation with Annelle Whitt, JD, one thing became as clear as a New York sky after a thunderstorm. Being a strategic decision maker is the secret sauce that helps you deal with the emotional fallout of risk-taking. And let me tell you, there will be fallout. Oh boy, will there be fallout. But before we dive deeper into this ocean of wisdom, let's address the elephant in the room, risk-taking. Those two words are enough to send shivers down the spine of even the most seasoned entrepreneur. We've all heard the horror stories. Businesses crumbling overnight, life savings evaporating faster than a puddle in the Sahara, dreams turning to dust quicker than you can say chapter 11. It's enough to make anyone want to curl up in a ball and hide under the covers. But here's the truth bomb that Annelle dropped on me. Strategic risk-taking isn't about being reckless. It's not about closing your eyes, crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. No, it's about being calculated, informed, and yes, a little bit gutsy. It's about knowing when to hold them and when to fold them. As Kenny Rogers would say, it's about having the courage to take that leap, but making damn sure you checked your parachute first. Let's take a page out of Richard Branson's playbook, shall we? This guy's approach to risk-taking is like watching a master chef at work. He doesn't just throw ingredients into a pot and hope for the best. No, he carefully selects each element, measures it precisely, and combines them with the skill of a seasoned pro. Branson's secret: he immerses himself in new ventures while building strong teams to manage existing businesses. It's like he's playing a high-stakes game of chess while everyone else is still figuring out how to set up the board. He's not just thinking one move ahead. He's planning 10 moves ahead, anticipating every possible outcome. But don't think for a second that Branson's journey has been all smooth sailing. He's faced more challenges than a New York cabbie during rush hour. Failures, setbacks, you name it. He's had more flops than a fish out of water. But here's where the magic happens. He doesn't let these setbacks define him. Instead, he uses them as stepping stones, each failure bringing him one step closer to success. Branson's strategy is all about managing risk by personally overseeing new ventures and setting clear targets. It's like he's got a GPS for success, constantly recalculating and adjusting his route. And the results? Well, let's just say he's not doing too shabby with his multiple successful businesses in the whole
Virgin Group empire. He's built an empire so vast it makes the Roman Empire look like a lemonade stand. But here's the thing. Branson's risk-taking mindset wasn't born in a boardroom. It wasn't cultivated in some Ivy League business school. No, it was shaped by his early experiences. Imagine being dropped off miles from home as a child and told to find your way back. That's the kind of stuff that builds character, folks. It's no wonder Branson approaches business with the fearlessness of a kid who's used to navigating unknown territories. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, that's great for Richard Branson, but what about us mere mortals? We can't all be billionaire entrepreneurs with a penchant for hot air balloons and space travel. Well, buckle up, Buttercup, because I've got another powerhouse for you. Janice Bryant Howroyd. Howroyd's story is the kind that makes you want to stand up and slow clap. We're talking about a woman who grew up in extreme poverty, faced racial barriers that would make most people throw in the towel, and still managed to become the first African American woman to found a $1 billion company. If that doesn't inspire you to take some risks, I don't know what will. This woman didn't just break the glass ceiling, she shattered it and used the pieces to build an empire. But here's where it gets really interesting. Howroyd didn't just stumble into success like a drunk finding their way home. She didn't rely on luck or chance. No, she developed a 4-question framework that's sharper than a New York deli knife. When evaluating new ideas, she asks herself, 1, what do I want from this idea? 2, what will it take to achieve it in the next 12 months? 3, what value will it bring? 4, is it aligned with my long-term vision? Simple, right? But don't let the simplicity fool you. This framework is like a bullshit detector for business ideas. It cuts through the noise and gets straight to the heart of what matters. It's like having a personal business coach in your pocket. Mine is the hefty hourly rate. Now, I can see some of you shifting uncomfortably in your seats. You're thinking, but what if I make the wrong decision? What if I take a risk and it all goes south faster than the snowbird in winter? Well, my friends, that's where emotional resilience comes into play. Let me break it down for you. Emotional resilience isn't about being tough as nails or having a heart of stone. It's not about never feeling fear or doubt. It's about being able to bounce back when life throws you a curveball. And in the world of entrepreneurship, curveballs come at you faster than a New York minute. This is where things get real. We need to talk about the B word. No, not that B word. I'm talking about burnout. It's the silent killer of entrepreneurial dreams, the thief of innovation, okay, you get the point. It's bad news. It's like the grim reaper of the business world, coming for your passion, your drive, and your sanity. Burnout can hit you harder than a Brooklyn winter, and when it does, your ability to take risks and make smart decisions goes right out the window. You start making choices that are more erratic than a taxi driver with a broken GPS. Or worse, you become so risk averse that you might as well hang up a gone fishing sign on your business dreams. But here's the good news. Burnout isn't inevitable. It's not some rite of passage that every entrepreneur must go through. Recognizing the signs early and taking steps to manage stress can help you maintain your risk taking mojo. It's like giving your entrepreneurial spirit a spa day. Trust me, it needs it. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. This all sounds great, but how do I actually put it into practice? How do I become this strategic risk taker you're talking about? Well, I'm glad you asked, because that's exactly what I want you to do differently after listening to this talk. First things first, adopt a strategic approach to decision making. And no, I don't mean spending hours creating color coded spreadsheets, unless that's your thing, in which case you do you. I'm talking about considering both the potential risks and rewards of your choices. It's about looking at the big picture, not just the immediate gratification. Try using Janice Bryant Howroyd's 4-question method the next time you're faced with a big decision. It's like having a personal business coach in your pocket minus the hefty hourly rate. Ask yourself, 1, what do I want from this idea? Be specific. Don't just say success or money. What does success look like for you? Is it financial freedom? Is it making a difference in your community? Is it proving your high school math teacher wrong? Hey, we've all got our motivations. 2, what will it take to achieve it in the next 12 months? This is where you get real with yourself. What resources do you need? What skills do you need to develop? What sacrifices might you need to make? 3, what value will it bring? And I'm not just talking about monetary value here. How will this idea impact your life, your community, the world? 4, is it aligned with your long-term vision? Because let's face it, if it doesn't fit into your big picture, it's just a distraction. And for the love of all that is holy, be mindful of burnout. It's not a badge of honor to work yourself into the ground. Take breaks, set boundaries, and remember that your business can't thrive if you're running on fumes. You're not a smartphone. You can't just plug yourself in and recharge overnight. Although, wouldn't that be nice? Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, self-doubt. Oh boy, is this a doozy? Self-doubt can creep up on you like a New York subway rat, silent, sneaky, and absolutely unwelcome. But here's the kicker. Everyone, and I mean everyone, deals with it. Even the Richard Bransons and Janice Bryant Howroyds of the world have moments where they question themselves. You know that voice in your head that says you're not good enough, smart enough, or experienced enough. Yeah, that voice is a liar. And not just a little white lie kind of liar. We're talking full on, pants on fire level of dishonesty. That voice is about as reliable as a weather forecast in New York City. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter if that voice is telling the truth or not. What matters is how you manage it. Because at the end of the day, other people's perception of you and your ideas, it's about as relevant as last week's weather forecast. You got to learn to tune out the noise and focus on what really matters. Your vision, your goals, and your ability to make strategic decisions. It's like being in Times Square. There's noise and flashing lights everywhere, but you got to keep your eyes on where you're going. Don't let the billboards distract you from your destination. So, here's my challenge to you. The next time you're faced with a risky decision, instead of letting self-doubt paralyze you, ask yourself this. What's the worst that could happen? And then ask, what's the best that could happen? I bet you'll find that the potential rewards far outweigh the risks more often than not. Remember, every successful entrepreneur you admire has faced moments of crippling self-doubt. The difference is they didn't let it stop them. They acknowledged it, gave it a nod, and then showed it the door. They said, thanks for your input, self-doubt, but I've got a business to run. Now let's talk about failure for a second. In the world of entrepreneurship, failure isn't just possible. It's probable. It's more common than pigeons in Central Park. But here's the secret that successful entrepreneurs know. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a part of success. Every time you fail, you're not losing. You're learning. You're gathering data. You're figuring out what doesn't work, which brings you one step closer to figuring out what does work. It's like Edison said about inventing the light bulb. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. And thank goodness he kept going, or we'd all be sitting in the dark right now. So the next time you face a setback, instead of beating yourself up, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Trust me, that simple shift in perspective can be the difference between giving up and pushing forward. It's the difference between being a footnote in someone else's success story and writing your own bestseller. Now, I want to circle back to something I mentioned earlier, the importance of emotional resilience. This isn't just about bouncing back from failure. It's about maintaining your sanity in the face of constant uncertainty. It's about staying cool, calm, and collected when everything around you is chaos. Entrepreneurship is like riding a roller coaster blindfolded. You never know when the next drop is coming or how steep it'll be. But with emotional resilience, you can learn to enjoy the ride instead of dreading it. You can throw your hands up in the air and yell, woo, instead of gripping the safety bar for dear life. So how do you build this resilience? Well, it starts with self-care. And I'm not talking about bubble baths and scented candles, although if that's your thing, go for it. I'm talking about real meaningful self-care. This means setting boundaries between work and personal life. It means taking time to exercise, eat well, and get enough sleep. It means nurturing relationships outside of your business. Because let's face it, if your entire identity is wrapped up in your business, every setback feels like a personal attack. You need to be more than just an entrepreneur. You need to be a whole person. It also means developing a support network. Find other entrepreneurs who understand what you're going through. Join a mastermind group. Get a mentor. Remember, even the Lone Ranger had Tonto. You don't have to do this alone, and frankly, you shouldn't. Entrepreneurship can be a lonely road, but it doesn't have to be. Now, let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention in the entrepreneurial world, celebrating your wins. And I'm not just talking about the big wins. I'm talking about celebrating every single step forward, no matter how small. Did you make that scary phone call you've been putting off, celebrate it. Did you finally figure out how to use that new software? Celebrate it. Did you get through a whole day without checking your email every 5 minutes? You better believe that's worth celebrating. Why is this important? Because entrepreneurship is a marathon, not a sprint. If you only celebrate the big wins, you're going to burn out long before you reach the finish line. But if you learn to appreciate and celebrate the small victories along the way, you'll find the strength to keep going when things get tough. So, here's what I want you to do. Start a win jar. Every time you achieve something, no matter how small, write it down and put it in the jar. Then, when you're having a tough day, and trust me, you will have tough days, pull out a few of those wins and remind yourself of how far you've come. It's like a highlight reel for your entrepreneurial journey. Now, as we start to wrap this up, I want to leave you with one final thought. Being a strategic decision maker isn't about always making the right choice. It's not about having a crystal ball or being able to predict the future. It's about making the best choice you can with the information you have at the time and then being prepared to adjust course if needed. It's about understanding that every decision, whether it leads to success or failure, is an opportunity to learn and grow. It's about having the courage to take calculated risks and the resilience to handle the outcomes, whatever they may be. Remember, entrepreneurship isn't just about building a business. It's about building yourself. It's about becoming the kind of person who can weather any storm, seize any opportunity, and turn any setback into a comeback. It's about developing the kind of strategic mindset that can turn a small idea into a world-changing innovation. So the next time you're faced with a tough decision, take a deep breath. Remember the lessons from Richard Branson and Janice, Bryant, Howroyd. Use your decision-making framework. Consider the risks and rewards. And then, my friends, take the leap. Because here's the truth. The biggest risk in life isn't taking a chance on your dreams. The biggest risk is looking back years from now and wondering, what if? Don't let fear of failure hold you back. Don't let self-doubt silence your ambition. Don't let the naysayers drown out your vision. You have within you the power to create, to innovate, to disrupt. You have the ability to see opportunities where others see obstacles. You have the potential to build something that could change the world, but none of that can happen if you're not willing to take strategic risks. So I challenge you. No, I dare you to step out of your comfort zone, to make that bold move you've been contemplating, to take that calculated risk that could catapult your business to the next level, to be the strategic risk taker that you were born to be. Remember, every great journey begins with a single step. And who knows, that step you take today could be the beginning of your own billion-dollar success story. It could be the first chapter in a legacy that will inspire generations to come. So what are you waiting for? The world needs your ideas, your passion, your innovation. It's time to stop playing small and start thinking big. It's time to stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating your own opportunities. It's time to become the strategic risk taker you were always meant to be. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the art of strategic risk taking. Now go out there and show the world what you're made of. Take those calculated risks. Make those bold decisions. And remember, in the game of entrepreneurship, the biggest risk is not taking any risk at all. So let's raise a glass to strategic risk taking, to resilience in the face of adversity, and to the incredible journey of entrepreneurship. Here's to your success, your growth, and your unstoppable spirit. Now go out there and make it happen.